This is a car that has simultaneously gone through a lot of changes in its run and stayed very similar since 2008. On one hand, we have a very familiar look and iconic design, and on the other hand, we have a relatively new but still iconic engine under the hood. This week we're reviewing the 2022 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Widebody. And before we get into the car itself, there are a ton of different options, trim levels, and packages that you can get on a Challenger these days. Starting off with the SXT, which is the baseline and starts off at $30,940. Then you have the GT, the RT Scat Pack, the RT Scat Pack Widebody. Then you have the SRT Hellcat, the Hellcat Widebody, the Hellcat Red Eye, the Hellcat Red Eye Widebody, and then the all-new SRT Superstock and the SRT Jailbreak. And of course, that's just scratching the surface with what you can get with and what you can do with a Challenger. Obviously, like I said, we're driving that Hellcat Widebody. It's not a Red Eye, it's not a Superstock, but it's still really amazing. If you're looking at the Hellcat Widebody, it starts off at $70,850, and ours has a full MSRP of just over $88,000. And I've reviewed a ton of Challengers from 2008 till now, a ton of Hellcats. I've had the Red Eye, but every time I have one, I talk about one thing, and that the Challenger itself is a really great GT car, really great for grand touring, which I think is a thing that Texas specializes in. You definitely do a lot of unintentional grand tours, which we're about to hit the road and do a bit of a grand tour. We're gonna take a 2-hour trip to an event, then we're gonna leave from that event and take a 5-hour trip to another event, all in this Hellcat. So let's jump in, get on the road, and figure out if this is as good of a GT car as I've always claimed it to be. So as most people who are interested in this vehicle already know, under the hood we have a 6.2 liter supercharged V8 engine, a Hemi engine obviously. And for the 2022 model year, you're looking at 717 horsepower, all matched up to an 8-speed torque flight transmission, which is really good, and this thing will haul, no doubt about it. So along with the wide body, this thing has super wide tires. I've talked about this before, that driving this thing on a back country road with some ruts in the road and stuff like that, this thing, the tires have a tendency to want to pull you to a side or so you really have to wrangle it in. But we're up on the highway now, headed towards our destination. We've got it in the GPS, and just cruising along at 70 miles an hour, and it's a little bit loud in here because of the exhaust kind of drone. Wind noise is a little bit loud. So if you want to take off any points for just uncomfortable to the ears, for GT-ness, you could probably do that, but you could solve that by not getting the Hellcat, or maybe with some aftermarket mods. But as far as we go so far, easy. And we're already averaging at 18 miles to the gallon. We'll see what we ended up with total as we get there. Of course, we're doing mostly highway, a little bit of regular city streets. We'll figure it out once we get there what our total miles per gallon was. This is rated at 13 miles per gallon city, 22 highway, and 16 combined. I did just fill up. We do have an 18.5 gallon tank in here, and it does take premium only. If you're taking a look at the rest of the interior, this is where a lot of people that spend $80,000 will complain about this car. They've done a lot in this interior to make it as nice as possible. You do have real carbon fiber trimming. We have these black seats that are leather and suede wrapped steering wheel, Alcantara headliner. Our infotainment system is the Uconnect C4 with an 8-inch touchscreen. Definitely a small screen to today's standards, but a decent size nonetheless. Running Apple CarPlay, has Android Auto capabilities, but obviously we got the iPhone hooked up running Apple CarPlay for our navigation, even though this does have navigation built in as well. And when it's not droning too much, it's not bad. It's not bad on the ears. When the road's nice and level, this thing just floats on down. And if you need to pass somebody slow, there's not much you have to do by putting your foot down and getting this thing to rocket forward. And of course, in between clips of me talking here, we're playing some music, listening to a podcast during the road trip. And we do have an 18-speaker Harman Kardon stereo system, which is super good in this car. We've got a trunk-mounted subwoofer, which usually doesn't matter because you really want to hear that engine and that exhaust and that supercharger whine. But for a Grand Tour, for a GT ride, you need to keep yourself entertained. Another great point for the Grand Tour is the trunk space. It's 16.2 cubic feet of trunk space in there. And obviously it's just me by myself traveling. So I've got one suitcase, a bag for the camera equipment, and a tripod thrown back there. Plenty of room for a lot more. You could definitely take a longer road trip with a couple of people and have a couple of suitcases and all kinds of stuff back there. For a daily driver, a grocery getter, this would work fine. Looking out over the hood, you can see the two bulges. Looking through your mirrors, you can see the wide hips on this thing. And you do take up a lot of the lane, but it's just a really easy and smooth ride. And again, when you need to, you just hit that gas and go. Of course, this does get a lot of looks, and people that know, which are a lot of people nowadays, especially in Texas, people that know really know what this is. They know that Hellcat symbol. They know the look of the Hellcats. They know the sounds of the Hellcats. So this can draw a lot of attention. We do have this gray color that's called Smoke Show. It's not really matte color, but it is a very muted color. So it doesn't like stand out too much. Not like if you're driving a orange or red Challenger down the road, you're really gonna get noticed. So while you can't really go under the radar because everybody knows what this is, you can sneak around a bit. We'll find a place to pull over and get some exterior shots, talk about more of the exterior design in a bit, but we'll take a break for now, and I got some miles to churn through. All right, guys, and after the first big leg of our trip, I think this thing is a really great GT car. You don't really have to have the Hellcat to get that GT feel out of it. The RT, the Scat Pack, I think is probably the sweet spot for this thing. But the Hellcat, if you really want that insane 717 horsepower under the hood, you've got to go for the Hellcat. Obviously, the red eye, the jailbreak, the other higher trims, you can get even more power, but for most cases, this is gonna do you. I know this has been a different video than most of our reviews. We got a lot going on this week, so definitely wanted to give you a video on this car. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the video. Let me know what you think about the Hellcat as a Grand Tour. We did end up with 22.5 miles to the gallon, so not bad there. Obviously, mostly highway driving. But again, if you liked the video, please hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're into automotive reviews. We do a different one every week. Check out TXGARAGE.com for more automotive coverage, reviews, news, event coverage, all by a lot of great authors over there. And with that, guys, thanks for watching.